I'm going to help you change your life one thought at a time. My name is Michelle Raza, and I created Finding Yourself SATX Life Coaching in 2017 to help busy people like yourself find their path. I hope that you've already liked and subscribed. Please also share with a friend. It really does help us little YouTubers. Also, if you've got $1 in your pocket, you can start your life coaching journey today. Our guided life balance questionnaires are 99 cents, and the full digital coaching package is $8.99. I hope that you invest that in yourself today for the price of a couple cups of coffee. Also, I'll always make time for you. So if you're interested on one-on-one sessions, my booking calendar is at www.findingyourselfsatxlifecoaching.com. Thanks, y'all. Without further ado, we will get started. We're going to continue covering Self-Care for Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents by Dr. Lindsay Gibson. Those of you who have been with me from the beginning, you know that I'm a big fan of Dr. Gibson. She's one of my favorites, and she's actually given us permission to cover her work on this channel, so it's very, very exciting. She's a practicing therapist in Virginia, so if you find yourself in Virginia, she can help you. She's amazing. So we will get started. Okay. So this section is called Honor Your Inner World. Self-care begins with self-knowledge. You have an inner world that is constantly trying to guide you toward a happier, more fulfilling life, if only you will listen to it. But in childhood, you may have learned to disregard your inner messages and do what other people thought was right for you. There's a huge cost for that later, setting you up for living a life that is not what you want. Instead, try to rediscover yourself from the inside out, listening for those cues that tell you what to seek and what to avoid. So then this chapter is called Pick Your Right Inner Voice. Your wise inner voice speaks with quiet certainty, while the voices of society, ego, and your EI parent are always pushing some agenda. Nobody likes to admit he or she hears voices. People who mention something a voice told them in their head quickly add they did not mean that kind of voice. But of course, most of us hear voices all the time, right here in our own minds. In fact, our inner conversations keep us sane. The thoughts of most normal people naturally take an inner verbal form, spoken to the self as a way of thinking things through. What fascinates me is how we decide which of these inner voices to listen to. How do we tell which voice is a good source of guidance and which is going to get us into trouble? Many people have told me that they had a quiet knowing about a situation way before they took action on it. They could remember when a still, small voice told them the truth, even if they were not ready to accept what it had to say. Have you had this experience? Even years later, you recall that you knew all along something was a bad idea. Yet instead, you followed the insistent voice telling you that you must do otherwise, regardless of how you felt or what you knew. Your wise inner voice speaks with quiet certainty. Is it crooked? Your wise inner voice speaks with quiet certainty, while the voices of society, ego, and your EI parent are always pushing some agenda. Later, you might rue the fact that your still small voice was so quiet. Why didn't it shout at me to stop, you might ask? Why didn't it make me get out? Why is our essential voice so quiet, and why does it take up so little room in our lives? Originally, this voice was anything but small and still. Ask any parent of a 2-year-old. Most of us start out with definite knowledge of what we like and do not like, where we want to go, and whom we want to be with. Back then, we could tell when people were hurting us, and we tried to avoid things that didn't feel good. Our original inner guidance was as loud and penetrating as a foghorn, warning us off the rocks. But we were taught to mistrust this inner guide when it conflicted with the desires of others on whom we depended, especially our parents. Each time we mistrusted it, it grew smaller and dimmer, but it never went away. As our true inner voice shrank, a strident, pushy voice shoved its way onto top place. This voice emphasizes feelings of guilt and shame that originally were encouraged by EI parents and authority figures in order to make us compliant. This ego voice speaks insistently, using words like should, must, and have to. It is the voice of compulsion. It makes us resentful, even as we give up control of our lives to others. The ego voice has an unrealistically urgent quality, often pushing us into situations while our other little voice keeps whispering to us, "This is not good for you." The loud, insistent ego voice pushes and tires you, never letting up on what you should be doing next. Listening to it makes you feel stressed. There is so much to do. I should try harder. This is what it takes to be a good person. You rarely notice that the voice is never satisfied, and it commands more and more from you every time you try to please it. Although you are assured that following it will somehow make you a better person, usually you just feel worse. The other voice, your natural voice of preference and self-preservation, is not compulsive and does give you a choice. It becomes insistent only in the most extreme situations of urgent danger. Short of that, it is content to tap gently on your consciousness as soon as you feel uncomfortable or unsafe. It is as though it wants you to have a choice, as though it is perfectly willing to let you make your mistakes and learn from them. It never says, "I told you so," because it doesn't want you to feel bad. It's just happy when you finally listen. It should be easy to see which voice has your true best interests at heart. The loud, adamant ego voice wants you to obey. The still, small voice wants you to think. Take all the time you need, it seems to say. I want you to feel sure about this. The ego voice says the opposite. Hurry up! Who cares how you feel? I'll tell you what's right. These voices offer very different styles of guidance. What kind of advisor would you trust in real life? That is the one to trust inside your own head. Okay, so I had a lot of thoughts while I was reading this. Did y'all ever see that movie? It had Julia Roberts in it. I think it was called The Runaway Bride. And every time that she got together with someone, she would eat the eggs in the same style that he liked. And then there was a scene in the movie where she cooks eggs in every single different type, like poached eggs, over easy, over medium, scrambled, whatever. And she has to learn, like, what kind of eggs does she actually like? Because she just kind of always goes with whatever her partner likes because there was no reason to fight it. And a lot of us in life, we're kind of just bumbling along. And if there's a very strong personality in the room, which typically the emotionally immature person is the loudest person in the room and commands the attention of the room. And a lot of times we're just going to go along with it. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, right? But what Dr. Gibson is saying in this chapter is it does hurt something. And what it hurts is your own sense of self-worth, you finding out what you like and what you dislike. So I do want to be careful. She's not telling us to forget about our responsibilities, right? There is no should, there is no must. So I don't have to go to work. Who should go to work? I don't feel like working. Well, there's real life consequences to that, right? Because then you can't pay your bills. So we don't want to do that. Like, life does have consequences and we all have obligations that we need to fulfill. But at the same time, if it's not hurting anyone, you don't have to like mint chocolate ice cream if you actually like brownie bite ice cream just because your parents' favorite was mint chocolate ice cream. And for some of us, we've been so conditioned to be pleasant and amenable to whatever our parents liked or our significant other or people in our life. We don't even really know what we like. So my challenge to you for this month would be to find something where you're not quite sure where you stand because you've always just gone with whatever those around you have said, and figure out what it is you really like, whether it be political parties or ice cream flavors or the type of eggs that you like. Take some time to discover, who are you? Who are you and what do you like? I think that's important because a lot of times we don't really know. And I've said again and again and again, right? Dr. Gibson has said it. Melody Beatty says it a lot. The way to get healthy emotionally is understanding your own feelings, right? And so like pulling up a feelings wheel, identifying your feelings, journaling about your feelings. But something that's a little bit lighter and safer is actually just discovering your likes and your dislikes, because a lot of us don't even have that. So being able to understand and identify what we like, what we don't like, and make your small, still inner voice, giving it room to grow, right? You're not used to listening to that small, still inner voice. You've learned to drown it out over years and years and years of being told that you should and you must. And so give it space, right? You have to consciously and purposefully give it space to grow. So it's just my challenge to you from now until when we meet again. I will say, so a lot of the stuff that we cover here, this book is going to take me forever because I'm going chapter by chapter by chapter, which is cool. I'm also studying about The Body Keeps the Score. So that one's interesting, and it's very interesting. It's worth a read. But the stuff that we cover on this channel, right, covering my favorite authors, this is something I do for the community, and I think it's beneficial. And if this is the only way that you ever interact with me, I'm grateful for it because you're learning something and I'm learning something whenever I see y'all's reactions. This is very different than your life coaching journey though, right? This is not tailored to you. This doesn't take into account your dreams or your vision for your life. And it doesn't do a gap analysis of how you're faring, right? The 7 different life areas: social and family relationships, career, educational aspirations, rest, recreation, leisure, how fit you are, writing down your goals. I mean, that's really how you'll get there, is identifying your goals and writing them down. So yeah, I'm happy that you're here with me today. I hope that you do like and subscribe and share, that you comment on this video. And then just start thinking about your journey, right? Take that dollar in your pocket, start your journey. It really will make a difference, that investment in yourself. I had to go through the coaching journey myself, right? To get here. You can't coach if you haven't learned the steps. And I was really behind in a lot of areas. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I was like a straight A student and the best little emotionally immature little soldier there was, right? Making my parents proud in every possible way, whether I was happy or not happy. But there were just some areas in my life that were really lacking. And so being able to look at the whole picture and understand, why aren't you happy? Like, oh my gosh, I'm a CEO. I have my own company. I make all this money, but like my marriage is in shambles. That's a very common one. I hate to say it, but it is, right? It's wherever you focus. Like there's this stupid saying, the grass is greener where you water it, but it's true, right? So if you spent 95% of your energy at the office, then you're going to be rock star stellar at the office, but your personal relationships are going to suffer. Or if you spend all your time at the gym, your body's going to look great, but maybe you didn't hit the books enough or something, right? So at the end of the day, the goal is finding balance in your own self, finding where you're off balance and then finding balance. So contact me. I'll make time for you. For those of you that are like in Australia and the United Kingdom, because I know I advertise there a little bit too. We can work around the time differences. We'll make it work. But thanks for hanging out with me today. I look forward to chatting with you guys next time. We will cover what emotions are for. So easy enough. I can tell you this whole chapter right now. It's feel your feelings. So next time we'll talk about feeling your feelings, and contact me in between. I love hearing from you guys and commenting back and forth on videos. So take care. I hope you have a great day or a good night. And as one of my favorites, Wim Hof says, all the love and all the power. Bye-bye.